Dun dun dun. Hey internet friend, this is MagicBrad again, sitting in my car with my little magic crystal to hypnotize you and put you into a deep sleep. The car works really good for a studio because it's so quiet in here. And I don't even have my microphone hooked on. I got my microphone around my neck. Instead, I don't use those fancy microphones. I keep things simple. So that's what this is about. Simplicity versus complexity. I think a lot of people make things more complicated than they have to be, and that's because our brain is creative. So it always comes up with new ideas, and sometimes you got to go backwards into the basics, the basic essentials of things to make them more simple. And I'll give you an example. Years back out of high school, I was working as a computer printed circuit board drafting designer. I did engineering change orders, they call them ECOs, where you fix things when different things go different ways, and that gets too complicated, but that's what I did. So there was a computer, it was over at Control Data, there was a computer printed circuit board that it goes into this little connector slot. It's got a connector on the end of the board and it goes into this little slot, and that's how the computer worked. However, if the board got flipped around this way and went in, it would blow up the computer because the connectors were different. So the complicated people started talking about creating stickers that say, warning, do not put in this way. Or create a procedure sheet. They wanted to create something complicated, a booklet that goes with it that says warning. And what I did, because of my infinite wisdom, all I did was there's two screws that hold the little connector on the end. There's two screws. And I just made one a bit longer than the other one so that when it went in, it couldn't go in because the screw was hitting the track. And then if you flipped it around, it would go in just fine. So there's only one way for it to go in. So all I had to do was change a part number from a 003 to a 004 to make the screw a little bit longer. That's all I had to do. So now when people assemble the boards, there's a longer screw on one side and it can't go in one way. The other way it goes in, runs fine, and the computer doesn't blow up and cost millions of dollars. So, very simple thing. I just took my little eraser and I erased the 3 and I put in a 4 and it was done. I didn't have to write no procedure sheet or all that. So, here's another example. I was working with a magician friend of mine working on this production, and there was a piece of cloth that we had to tear down multiple times in rehearsal, over and over and over. And we had to tear this cloth down. And the way they had originally done it was they used a piece of thread. So you tear down the cloth and the thread breaks, and now you got to retie new threads to rehearse again. So what I did was I took some copper wire and some duct tape, and I just taped some wires on there and made some little copper wire hooks. Now you tear it down and you just bend the hooks back and set the thing on there. Didn't have to retie anything. So it was just really simple and saved a lot of time. It didn't require a lot of complexity of connectors or anything like that. Keep it simple. So that's my little message for today, because the idea of complexity came in, because some people, they make things more complicated than they need to be. And that's how I managed to have a lot of free time in my life, where some people are busy, they're too busy, and they end up putting value on themselves because they're so busy. They think that because something is complicated, it's valuable. Whereas I believe that time is a commodity that you don't get back. I think the most valuable thing we've got is our time. So if you can save time, that's valuable. Making things complex so that I don't understand them and then you charge me a lot of money because it's complicated. There are some very, very simple ways of doing things as opposed to using complicated software or complicated tools. Anyways, that's my message for this moment. I'm going to get out and about. Beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. Maybe I'll go walk around the lake, grab an ice cream cone, and enjoy my day while the internet does my work. Peace, love, and happiness. This is MagicBrad signing off. Enjoy!